I'm an ambitious young man. Like, there's no doubt about it. I have huge dreams for my future, huge goals for the next year, next 2 years, next 10 years, 20, 30, 40 years. Things that I can't imagine achieving. Like, right now, I just can't imagine it. But they're my goals. I'm always working towards a better future, and I'm sure you are always working towards a better future. But as much as I'm an advocate of living in the present moment, I'll find myself anxiously overthinking about my future, whether I'll actually achieve my goals, whether things will actually work out. And I've found that the self-improvement community is harsh on doubt, on anxiety. They're like, positive thoughts. Think positive thoughts. Don't think that. Input positive thoughts in your head, and it's like, yeah, of course. But you and I both know that's easier said than done. You and I both know that times will come when, even though you've done quite literally everything you could have done on that day, you start wondering if you're doing enough. You'll start wondering if things are actually going to work out. And I'll say this happens like 1 day a week for me. It'll probably be better for me to say that I have no doubt. I know for a fact I'm going to achieve all that I want to do. And for 90% of the time, I genuinely do feel like, I know I'm going to achieve it. But for that 10% of the time, those anxious periods, sometimes crippling. It's not cool for me to say any of this, but sometimes I'll just be lying in my bed thinking, what the hell am I doing? What the hell am I doing with my life? Because but I'm going down a road not taken. So it's very hard to judge my progress. I'm just like the best way I can say it is that like once a week, I'll just be sitting in my bed and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like all the doubts will come in, like, what am I doing this for? Is it even working? And the obvious self-improvement advice is, don't have these thoughts. Don't think that. But we know that we can't control it. We know that we can't control the thoughts that come into our head. We can control the ones that we manually think, but they're just some thoughts that we can't control. So instead of telling people, don't think those thoughts, why not learn to deal with them? Why not teach people how to deal with them? I'm not going to say I'm a master at this. I'm not. Because the fact that I have these thoughts once a week, I'm literally sitting in my bed thinking, what the hell am I doing with my life? Ish, I sprayed. My bad. Water break. Drink your water. 3 liters of water a day. But yeah, I've found a few ways to deal with them, and I'm going to explain them now. So the very first thing that I do when I realize that I'm going through an anxious overthinking phase is I label my thoughts. So let's say the thought, am I going to make it comes? I'll immediately label it. Well, immediately as soon as I realize what's going on, I'll say, this is an anxious thought. So when you label a thought, you detach yourself from that thought. So that thought will now have less of an effect on you. It'll still have an effect on you, but it'll just be less of an effect. So at first, before you detach yourself from the thought, it would have been 100%. Now it's like 60%. So now that you're at 60% of an effect, now we have things to reduce the effect of that effect. What I do next is I focus on the present moment. I focus on the now. So obviously I have goals in the future, but I can't really control what happens in the future. I can control what I do today. So I'll ask myself, have I done enough today to improve? Have I improved today? And if the answer is yes, sometimes it doesn't relieve stress, but it's like I can have peace knowing that I've improved today. Because imagine if you improved every single day for the next 5 years. Imagine the type of person you would become. Because I'll say most people don't improve every day.
TJ!
The very best people probably improve 50% of the days. So imagine if you genuinely improved every day. I don't know if it's possible to improve every day. It probably is. It is. I'm just trying to justify mediocreness. But yeah, it's possible to improve every day. Imagine if you improved every day, even if it was by 0.1%. Imagine. And the best concept to connect to all of this is the concept of you reap what you sow. So if you focus on the now, if you focus on the work you're doing now, if you're truly sowing seeds of hard work, not necessarily hard work, but seeds of productiveness, seeds of things that will improve your future, right? You will definitely reap the rewards. And the rewards may not be what you want them to be, but they will be rewards. You will have a better future. The best example I can give is if you're in the gym. Let's say in the gym, you're pushing yourself to failure, you're doing all the sets correct form, then you go home.
TJ!
Then you go home and you're eating the right foods. You're eating a healthy diet, no processed foods, no seed oils, you're avoiding refined sugars. You know for a fact you're going to gain muscle. You know for a fact that your body is going to look better. You don't know how your body is going to look. That's up to genetics, something that you can't control. Likewise, you're putting in the work now. You don't know exactly how your future is going to turn out. You just know that it's going to be better than it is right now. So, you can have peace knowing that things will be better. But you can have peace knowing that even though you don't know what it's going to look like, it's going to be better than it is right now. That's where the peace comes. Last thing that I do this from time to time, but the last thing that I do is visualize myself achieving my goals and thinking, why was I spending all that time stressing? You 6 months from now thinking, why did I spend all that time stressing? Was this useless? Visualize yourself thinking that. The first thing it does is it gives you confidence. It's like in your mind you've already achieved your goal. And secondly, it emphasizes that stressing isn't going to solve anything. So after this visualization, I can guarantee you'll be feeling much better. I'm not going to guarantee you that the stress will be gone. The anxious overthinking episodes will be gone. They'll still be there. They'll still come. But it's like they'll have less of an effect on you. I don't like making promises. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to get rid of all the thoughts. You'll never have them again. But I'll just tell you that it will be better. You will be able to get out of bed. You will be able to get out of that rut if you do the things I've told you. And you can do some of your own things, but these are the things that I've found that have helped. And I just wanted to share them with you. So I hope you enjoy the video. And I hope you're working hard towards your future.